Welcome, brother. JK with Porn Reboot here. Brothers, today we're going to be talking about the most dangerous stage of your porn addiction. Your porn addiction doesn't just occur in a linear fashion. There's actually an addiction cycle, and most men are not aware of their porn addiction cycle. There are many parts to it, and we're going to be covering those different stages of the porn addiction cycle over the next few weeks. But today I want to talk about what I consider to be the most dangerous stage. And this stage is known as the dormant stage of your addiction. The dormant stage is possibly the most difficult stage to recognize because it can last for days, it can last for months, and it can last for years. And the dangerous thing about this is that the dormant stage can fool you into actually believing that you have your behavior under control. So during this time, you're very functional. That's another danger. You actually are able to get into a new relationship. You might even improve your relationship with your partner. You might have kids. In terms of your career, you might get a promotion. If you're a business person or an entrepreneur, your business might start doing very well. So during this time period, you're functional compared to when you were really struggling with pornography. So a lot of men sometimes feel that, you know what, I've got this under control. If you feel that way, I want you to pay close attention to this video. One of the things that happens during these longer periods is that there's often an opportunity for you to pick up new compulsive behaviors. There's nothing wrong with certain compulsive behaviors if they help you move forward in life, but the danger is that they distract you from the fact that you're still addicted. Your brain is still wired to pornography, and it's only a matter of time before you actually slip. So a few examples of these are, I'll give a few different scenarios. One of them is men who really get into working out. So you want to transform your body, and so maybe you hire a trainer or you start following this workout program, and your entire lifestyle becomes the lifestyle of the fit guy. You get really fit over a period of months or maybe even up to a year, and that lifestyle actually keeps you off pornography for a short period of time because you're so consumed with it, and you feel really good while you're working out as well. Now, you might still masturbate once in a while, or maybe slip to porn once over a period of a couple of months, but you don't pay too much attention to it because you didn't slip again and it didn't become a relapse. Another example would be men who get a new job, or men who start a business or expand their business. You're so focused on the growth of your business that you don't even have time to view pornography. You don't have time to masturbate. Again, don't get me wrong. Once in a while, you will masturbate. Once in a while, maybe you're a little bit stressed out one day in the shower, you masturbate, but you don't think much of it because you're not binging, and life goes on. These compulsive behaviors that you pick up, working the very long hours, focusing on your fitness, these can lull you into a sense of complacency, and it can make you feel that you're safe. Like, you know what, I beat this already. And over the past 9 years that I've been helping men to end the out of control behavior with porn, brother, I've seen a lot of guys decide that they had this under control. I'll receive an email or a call from somebody and he'll be like, JK, things are going amazing in my life. You know, I got this new job, I started this new business, I'm really making money, I met this woman, she's awesome, and honestly, I think it was just a matter of me getting into a relationship. I'm in a relationship now and I feel good, dude, so thank you for all your help. And I'll be like, well, hold on. 1 second, just wait a minute. Did you develop any coping skills for any of the issues you're dealing with? Nah, man, I don't think I need those coping skill things. I think it was just that my career was in a rut and I was depending on porn. Or I just think that I wasn't with the right woman and now I'm with the right woman. And they move on, despite everything I say. A few months later, in some cases, 2 to 3 years later, they're back in my inbox or they're back to giving me a call. And they're just surprised at the fact that they've binge watched pornography. And you may be able to relate to this. If you've taken a few months or a few years off pornography due to this dormant stage, and you ended up slipping or relapsing, and you were shocked by the fact that the pornography you went back to was the worst sort of pornography. Like nothing changed. It wasn't as if you went back to vanilla porn. Why does that happen if you've experienced it? Well, that happens because your brain hasn't really rewired. So if you're one of those guys whom your preference changed from watching straight pornography between a man and a woman to watching maybe gay porn or she-male porn or any of those other genres, you're shocked to find that months or years later, you're still watching that stuff. So that just goes to show that your brain truly hasn't rewired yet. The point I'm trying to make, brothers, is that dormancy does not equal rebooting. You'll see it a lot in some men who try to help other men to end their out of control behavior. And the next thing you'll see is they'll put up a post or they'll put up a video where they're like, oh, I relapsed 1 year later. What happened? More often than not, these men were doing something that was helping them stay off pornography. They started experiencing some positive changes in their life, and they were so eager and so excited for those positive changes that they just let go of everything else that they were doing. And if you're not rewiring your brain, if you're not developing coping skills and coping strategies, you're still gonna relapse. It's better to put in the hard work early on than to relapse later. Now, when you do relapse, there are a few ways that this happens, and hopefully this helps you recognize the dormant stage a little bit better. One of the ways that relapses happen during the dormant stage, I'll use a few examples so I can cover different scenarios, is opportunity. So what's opportunity? Let's use the example of a business owner or somebody who has been moved from position in your office to working at home, working remotely during this coronavirus situation. And you're at home with your family for the most part. You're with your wife and you're with your kids. This goes on for a couple of months. Suddenly quarantine is lifted in your state and you get the opportunity to go on a business trip. You go on that business trip and for the first time in months, you find yourself alone in a hotel room with cable TV. Alone in a hotel room, and at 7 p.m., you're not having dinner with your family. What happens? Well, you're going to relapse if you haven't been working on your reboot. That's an example of an opportunity. Many men who will find themselves in that situation, or who are in that situation right now, you might be fooling yourself into believing that you've gained control of your behavior because you're at home. It could simply be because you just don't have an opportunity to act out. Another example would be men who are using pornography and masturbation to medicate their issues with attachment, their issues with loneliness and a lack of intimacy. If you're one of those brothers who every time you get into a relationship, you're off pornography. You're just excited to be in a relationship. The sex is new and exciting. You just love everything about it. You're on this biochemical high as a result of the new relationship. And so you just tell yourself that you're good. You're like, man, all I needed was this relationship. Well, what happens the first time you guys have a big fight, or the first time you all have a huge argument, or when that honeymoon period is over? What happens? Well, you end up using pornography to medicate those issues. So let's say you're arguing with her and you get really, really angry, or you get upset, or you get jealous. You were not using the dormant stage, that opportunity you had, to work on those emotions and to develop coping strategies for dealing with things like anger. So when anger comes up, what are you going to fall back on? You're going to fall back in the same thing that you've been using since you were a teenager. Masturbation, pornography, right? So if you're one of those guys who always feels that when he's in a relationship, he's safe, I urge you to think twice. If you haven't gone through the process of rebooting, don't fool yourself into thinking that this is under control. There are also some men who take it a step further. And there are men who, you're in a relationship, you're not viewing pornography, and then you tell yourself, you rationalize it by saying this, you know what, it's because I wasn't a mature guy. I was just a single guy depending on pornography and masturbation, and now I'm married, now I'm in a serious relationship, and this is maturity. This is what a man does. Then you end up relapsing. Because the rationalization you've told yourself is that you were mature by getting married, you now make another rationalization. Well, maybe I just need to have a kid. If I had a kid, I know that I would quit porn because I don't want to be the porn addicted dad. and so you have a kid. And much to your dismay, nothing changes. You're still very much addicted. Don't fall into that trap. If you have issues with loneliness, with intimacy, with codependency, it's important to work on that. Now, brothers, the dormant stage does have one benefit. It gives us a breather. It's a little bit of time where we can relax and we don't have to deal with these strong urges all the time. We have the opportunity to work on different areas of our life. But there's no point in any of that if at some point within a year or a couple of years or months or weeks, you're going to relapse again and feel bad. Unfortunately, many men just end up living that way. They end up living a life of peace for a few months and then relapsing for months and months. What you may not recognize is that all of this compounds. It compounds because all those months that you lose out on when you are relapsing, all those months where you're experiencing the negative effects of porn addiction, the brain fog, the lack of focus, the porn-induced erectile dysfunction, you can never get those months back. Those months also throw off your momentum. So while you notice that you have these periods of great focus, these periods of many amazing things happening in your life, connections with people, great relationships, health, and so on, but you're never able to sustain it over a long period of time. You're never able to show anything for all the work you've put in. I'll give you an example with entrepreneurs who are addicted to pornography. Entrepreneurship means that you're a person who solves problems. You're a professional problem solver. And entrepreneurship has a certain flow to it. What I mean by a flow, for those of you who are entrepreneurs, it means you have a flow. You have a rhythm because you understand that everything is working against you. That you've got to keep on putting in the work. You've got to be focused. You can't slack. If you slack at any point, you're going to lose your momentum. You lose your momentum and your business doesn't perform the way it's supposed to. Many entrepreneurs who are addicted to pornography and who are unaware of the dormant stage end up playing this game and they find out that they are never able to hit their goals. Why? Because at that key moment, when you need to be focused, when you need to be operating with that rhythm, you completely lose it. You slip. You're overwhelmed by stress, by all the different things you need to do. You don't have any other coping strategies or coping skills. And that's why year after year, you're running your business and you really have nothing to show for it. You keep wondering why you're never able to break through. It's not about your know-how. It's not about your skill. It's not about anything. It's about you and your biochemistry. You are not you on a consistent basis. So enough said, brothers. The only solution to dealing with the dormant stage is to develop coping strategies before the dormant stage and during the dormant stage. So brothers, that's it. The most dangerous stage of your porn addiction. Now, if you found this video helpful, if you feel that you learned something from it, go ahead and subscribe and click on the like button. And if you think that this is something that can benefit a few other men, go ahead and share it with 2 or 3 men whom you feel would get something out of it. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll speak to you later in the week. Take care.